Aloha, beautiful resilience family. I want to wish you a good morning. I was just sitting in meditation for a little while, and every morning I take some time to listen to something inspiring or to read something inspiring. And of course, so much of the wisdom that we acquire is universal, right? So across many different systems, a lot of systems say the same thing. So whether you're studying the Course in Miracles or you're reading, a book on just personal development, or you're coming at it from the perspective of Buddhism or Vedanta or whatever your particular approach might be, a lot of universal truths. And in a lot of systems, what we find is that all human emotion really fundamentally comes down to two things, either love or fear. And how we distinguish between the two is really in the physiology and how we feel. Whenever you're feeling expansive and open and joyful, you know that you're vibrating on the frequency of love. And whenever you contract or constrict, and things start to feel crunchy, is the word I like to use, then you know that there's some sort of fear-based thought going on. And, I know that there's so much out there and we hear this so often, and yet it's such a simple principle. The quickest way out of the crunchy contraction, in addition to just allowing yourself to feel into it and acknowledge that it's there, is then to shift your perspective to one of gratitude and really practice the art of counting your blessings. And I know that it sounds like, oh my God, it's just such a simplistic approach, and how do I do that? And it's really just a matter of dropping in that moment. Once you've allowed yourself to feel into that emotion and ask what the learning is, to then go, okay, thank you. Just start by saying the words, thank you. And ask yourself, what could I be thankful for in this moment? Something as fundamental as the breath in my lungs. Like, thank you for the beat of my heart. Thank you for the breath in my lungs. Thank you for the ground that I'm sitting on. Thank you for the roof over my head. I mean, those seem like really fundamental things that we take for granted, but if you can just come back to the simple thank yous, then you'll start to shift that energy, and all of a sudden you begin to see more and more of what you can be grateful for. Then suddenly you can go, thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for the food that I'm about to eat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just starting with the words thank you and allowing yourself to shift that energy from contraction to expansion. It's such a simple little tool. And I woke up this morning with the words thank you in my head. And that may or may not be sort of the automatic thought that's in the head, which is why I love the tools of NLP, because we can change behavior, right? So I often say NLP is like the how-to manual for a spiritual practice. And you can literally train your mind to come back to that space of thank you every time you start to feel just a little bit crunchy and a little bit contracting, and just go, okay, like the quickest way out is to, one, just drop in, to lean in, to explore, like, what is this emotion? What is it trying to tell me? I often say sit under the tree and sit with it and go, okay, let me pay attention to it. Let me come into a space of let me come into the space of just asking what the learning is inside of this emotion, and then to go, okay, I got it. By paying attention to it and honoring it, now I can switch over into the space of gratitude. Like, thank you, sadness, for coming up and showing me that I needed to pay attention to something in my life. Thank you, that little bit of fear that showed up, right? And then switch the gears to, okay, what else can I say thank you for in this moment? So, contraction versus expansion. How do you experience that in your life? And how can you begin to flip the switch, right, from contraction to expansion, just by starting with thank you. Just thank you. I don't know what for, but just thank you for this moment. Thank you for this learning. Thank you. And then allow the mind to come back to what it knows, to come back to what is true, which is that we have such abundance to be grateful for, even inside of the crunchy times. All right, that's my little bit of Wednesday wisdom for y'all. Continue to have a beautiful day, and let's continue to be in that space of expansion and gratitude together. Aloha and a hui hou.